All right. Hello and welcome to the Let's Talk Fabulous with Tamara show. But no, I am your guest host today, Kim O'Neill. So great to be here with you. And today's topic is all about reinventing yourself. Let's talk. All right. Hello and welcome to all of today's panelists. It's so good to see you here. Before we get into today's conversation, we are going to take a moment to hear from our digital sidekick, Renee.
Hello, everyone. My name is Renee Reichstein. Today we'll be joined by guest host Kim O'Neill, and she'll be joined by expert panelists speaking about transformation and reinvention. Halloween is coming up really quickly here, and people put on masks and costumes, and they cover themselves up or they pretend they're somebody else for that day or that evening when they go trick-or-treating. But how do you really reinvent yourself? How do you transform? And you need to pivot. With 2023 coming to a close and we'll be embarking upon 2024, this is a show you're gonna want to stay tuned for, because you will get some wonderful tips and tools from these expert panelists. So grab those papers and pens and stay tuned for a very fabulous show. I'll talk to you soon, and I look forward to sharing our voices together. Bye-bye.
I love that. Thank you, Renee. All right. So let's real quickly, let's go around. I want each of you to introduce yourselves, say who you are and where you're located in the world. And I'm going to start with Carrie, who is right there. Go ahead, Carrie.
Hey, everybody. I'm Carrie West. I am in lovely Santa Barbara, California. I'm a transformational story coach, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Carrie. Dom.
How's it going, folks? Name's Dominique Brightmon, hail from the city of charm and crab cakes, Baltimore, Maryland, and I am an author and positivity thought catalyst.
Awesome to have you here, Dom. Sharla, welcome.
Thank you. Hey, everyone. Yeah, I'm Charlotte Friborg, and thank you so much for having me here. I'm an author, a speaker, and a coach for especially moms who wants to kind of reinvent themselves when they want to make a more fulfilled life. I live in Florida, and if you wonder where my accent is from, I'm originally from Denmark.
Thank you, Charlotte. Good to have you here. Anna, let's hear from you.
Hi, I'm Anna Sneed. I am right outside of Dallas, Texas. I am a period empowerment coach, and I'm the COO of the Agenda Period, and we just help people track, treat, and thrive through all phases of their menstrual cycle.
I love that. Okay, and last but not least, we have Sharla, and you might notice that we have Charlotte and Sharla, and it's that's on me for I have you both here today, and I love it. It's perfect. Sharla, tell us more about you.
I'm Sharla Lee Shults. I'm from Panama City, Florida, but at present I'm in Tega Cay, South Carolina. I'm an educator, motivational speaker, writer, author.
Oh, you guys are I love it. So diverse and so just excellent for today's topic about reinventing yourself. So what's the first thing that comes to mind when you guys think about reinventing yourself? Does anyone have anything they would like to initially? Anna, I saw a hand. I'm gonna call you out, Anna.
Dang, I'm a former teacher. Like, I should know better than to move my hand when someone's asking a question.
I know. I gotcha.
I mean, as a coach, when somebody talks about reinventing themselves, like nothing makes me happier than someone quitting a job, leaving a spouse, moving. Like you're choosing yourself. And I feel like when you're reinventing yourself, you're choosing you and you're choosing to level up. So it's exciting.
It is exciting. I completely agree with that. Who else? What comes to mind for some of the other panelists? Sharla.
Yes, I'll just piggyback off of Anna because it's recognizing your identity. It's knowing who you are and no longer being the victim, or however you want to put it, succumbing to what other people think and do. You're able to be yourself whenever you want to, what you want to, and do what you want to when you want to.
Yeah, and we had Tamara in the comments just now saying level up. And I love that because we're talking about being who we are and our identity and yet leveling up, right? So how interesting to think about, gosh, how much of our lives have we lived where we weren't quite even level with who we authentically are. Okay, Charlotte, I think I saw your hand.
Yeah, that's right. And I want to say that what also is important to, I think, remember is that we don't have to change a lot always in order to make big shifts and changes in our life. I think sometimes a lot of people hold back because they think they have to do so much in order to get what they want or to change their life. But really, sometimes it's just the small little habits in everyday life that can make a big difference in the long term.
That is such a great point.
I want to add to that, if I can.
Absolutely.
A wise friend once said to me, think of it as shooting an arrow out there. And even if you just shoot it by 1 degree, by the time it goes down the road, it's really spread out. It starts like this, but it just spreads out as it gets further and further. So making little changes can impact you a great deal down the road. So it's important. Go for it. Whatever it is, just go for it.
Absolutely. And Dom, I'm just going to throw you in the mush pot because we want to hear from you too. What are your thoughts?
Yes, indeed. And I'd have to say the word that popped in my head was intuition, because the thing is, deep down inside, after going through certain things in a while, we feel like, you know what, it's time for a change. We'll have a desire for change. And even backing off of Charlotte's thought earlier, it doesn't have to be all at once or a big change. It can be a lateral move sometimes. So really tapping deep within, hearing your own self and realizing, hey, I'm built for more. I desire more. Let's go out for more.
I love that. Thank you all for chiming in the way that you have just now. I really feel like you're helping to already simplify this topic of reinvent yourself. Because I think that it does seem like such an astronomical thing for a lot of people, right? Oh my gosh, if I'm going to have a different job, I'm going to have to change 50 million other things in my life. Right? Like it really might seem like that at the time at first. So yeah. Okay. So we have a fun little video that our fabulous Barbara has created with some tips, and I'm going to share that now to help further the conversation. So let's take a look at that.
Boy, that brought up stuff for me.
Tell us. Say it.
Well, one of the things that really came to mind as I was watching that was, I think we've forgotten how to have an imagination. So can we imagine a better life for ourselves? Can we see that for ourselves? And I think as adults, we're told, be responsible. Don't worry about your imagination. That's for kids. And I think it's more important for us to have our dreams and our imagination fully present. Because when you have a good imagination and you can see yourself and feel yourself in this new experience, getting there is easier. That's so much a part of it, is having that. You know, in the video, they said have goals, achieve your goals. And I would add, make your imagination really strong and imagine yourself in that new world. Makes it so much better.
That's such a good point, Carrie, because it really helps to collapse that space between, oh, this sounds great, but oh my gosh, that seems so astronomically hard to get to, right? The imagination.
Exactly. Exactly. We get stuck on the how to get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you just can feel it, the how somehow opens up the path for you. It's really crazy. We all, Dominique talked about intuition. You're right. When you have that, your intuition starts firing, don't you think?
I love
Absolutely.
that. Yeah. You've got one life to live. Like, why not make it your wildest dreams? Like, you're not going to look back and be like, I'm so glad I didn't take that risk and I didn't try that thing. And you're never going to say that. So, yeah, I love that, Carrie. You're so right.
Yeah, I mean, even if something doesn't work out, you at least know because you tried, right? Like you at least can have the relief of, okay, I no longer have to wonder what that's going to be like, right? And I'm personally I don't even know if I just said it, but I actually don't believe in failure, because a lot of people then say, oh, it didn't work out, right? So it failed. It's like, no, what'd you learn, right? What did you gain out of that? Because you definitely got something out of it. Yeah. What else popped for you guys as you were seeing that video with those clips? Self-reflection.
I think so. I'm going to piggyback on the imagination, because it goes a little bit beyond that. To me, it's the visualization of that imagination. It's taking that you have imagined, but you visualize it in your mind and you hold on to that vision as though you already have it. So it's out there in the future. All you have to do is just bring it to you. So the more you visualize and the more you feel and you have the emotion, having that emotion of knowing what it is, what it feels like when you succeed at what you're trying. I think that's huge, huge. And I remember back in education with Stephen Covey, Stephen Covey always said, begin with the end in mind. And I think beginning with the end in mind is where it is. That's what you're seeing, is where you are in your future, not stuck here where you are or looking back in the past.
Yep. And I, to add to that, think about when you have trouble sleeping at night, when people have trouble sleeping at night and they're re-agitating over things that happened during the day. What if you could interrupt that and think about the good things that happened during the day? You'll fall asleep better. And when you wake up in the morning, instead of waking up with dread, you wake up with a positive attitude of, what can I do today? What can I feel today? Who can I be today? And that it changes. It just sets a whole different tone for your day when you have that good night rest and you haven't agitated and ruminated over everything. Just let that go and really play. Have some imagination. Have the fun. Like you were saying, Sharla, feel it, believe it, visualize it, see it. It brings up those emotions and it just changes so much.
And Carrie, I love the way you started that, because in the morning, when you start your morning, you know how people sometimes will wake up in the morning and they go, oh man, I just don't want to get out of this bed. I just want to stay here. Do I have to do this today? I got this on my calendar. No, 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 no. You wake up in the morning with gratitude and you're thankful that you have this day. And then when you jump out of bed, get active, make up your bed or walk around your room, then go outside, open the door, take a big, deep of fresh air and welcome that new day. Because every day's a new day, right, Kim?
It totally is.
I would say also that every day is a new day, and the universe also works in mysterious ways. So and chime in to what everybody says. And I think another aspect is also for us to be aware that we are so different. And to also be aware that we can listen to all the advice, we can read all the books, we can listen to all the podcasts, but see what works for us and know what might work for one person may not work for another one. We can talk about there are many ways we can learn each other. One of the things that was our human design. And the more I became aware of that and how just making decisions is different for everybody, it's so valuable to start to just recognize our own uniqueness and know that because something works for one person, we are not a failure because it doesn't work for us. So we just have to continue to show up and try new things, talk to people. Life is an experience, I would say. We can be more playful. I think it was Sharla who said that earlier on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? And I want to share something. When I was a teenager, I used to watch a lot of biography shows. So I know there's like Annie's biography. I think that was out back then, but I think 2020 used to sometimes do these shows. And the thing that I noticed, because I would always want to see like, how did that person get to where they are? And the thing that I would notice is exactly what you were just saying, Charlotte. Everyone's got a different path. Everyone's story, their journey is unique. The common threads tend to be that, there's some sort of stumbling block, some sort of challenge that they have to go through, a hurdle to get over in order to get to where they want to be. But the way they get there is all different. No two musicians' stories are alike. No two, actresses or, whoever the people are, no two stories are alike. So yeah, I love that point. Charlotte.
And I think too, Kim, once you have your true desire, once you set your true nature and your purpose, is having that purpose in mind on your passion, what it is that you want to do. And once you set that, then you become the predominant creator of your life, because that's inward within you. It's in your heart. It's in your soul. And that's what you're going to work for. And being that predominant creator is going to hit in your mind, well, if I'm going to do this, then I've got to stay healthy. So all of a sudden you're going to put your health and your vitality up there at the top of the list. And it just kind of flows down. And then all of a sudden, guess what? You're living your true nature and purpose. You're living the life you love. And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
I love the idea of creativity and imagination. Like, I've got a 7-year-old, and at bed she'll lay down, and she's a ruminator, kind of like me. And she will start going down a hill that's going to take her into a bad dream. And we'll just create this wonderful scenario in her mind. Like, picture you're on the clouds and a unicorn comes by, and we just have this big elaborate scene, and she gets to go to bed and enter that land that she just created. And it dawned on me, maybe I should try this. Like, my goals before I go to bed, I should just start envisioning myself in the places that I want to be. And when I go to sleep, my brain's going to get to work, and it's going to create this as if it were true. And so imagination and creativity, I think, Carrie, I think you said that. I love that aspect of reinventing yourself.
I think it's go ahead.
Oh. I was just going to say it's such a powerful tool. Mm-hmm. And when you add gratitude, gratitude is believing it's already done. Yeah. And acting as if, and having the gratitude for it. A friend of mine once said, gratitude is the greatest form of receivership. So when you're living in gratitude, the world will open up doors, so you will have more things to be grateful for. And I do want to add another thing based on what Sharla said. I love that word purpose. I love that finding purpose at any stage, anywhere. I don't care how old you are. As you can maybe guess, I'm not 30 anymore. And I have had a whole renewed purpose in my life these last few years. And I'm just more excited for what new purposes will show up when I get done with these. You will always find another purpose. There's always something more.
Absolutely. I want to add that I think it was Dr. Wayne Dyer that said, the last 5 minutes before you go to bed are like the most important, because what you're thinking about, what you're holding in your head is what you're, of course, going to dream about or manifest more of. It's like a very critical time. So I love that you brought that up, Anna. There's another tip that one of you shared that I think is going to add to this conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and share another clip, and we'll come right back.
Hey, I was asked to share a tip what we can do to reinvent ourselves. What is reinvent ourselves? I would say anything we are starting a new goal. If there are things in our life we are not happy about, things we would like to learn, we will change as we do new things. And I will share one of my 8 golden keys that I teach my clients when they want to enhance their career, make their own money, and it counts for anything, I would say, in life. So my name is Charlotte Friborg, and my tip is to know how to build the right tribe. Whenever we go through changes, whenever we set a new goal, it's so important to have the right people around us. There will be people around us that may not like that we change. So therefore, it's even more important that We have people who believe in us, who wants to support us, who are behind us. That's it.
Thank you for that, Charlotte. I love that, and in fact, I actually forgot that was what you said in there. I thought you said something else. So I've got something else to add to that. But before we move on, would you like to elaborate on the whole concept of how important it is to have a tribe around you?
Absolutely. We're here together, right? We share this planet, and we're supposed to somehow find out to be here together, ideally peacefully. That's not how the world looks like right now. And we all go through challenges. I am the least the one. I don't want to sugarcoat. We can learn all these tools and tips, but life is just sometimes hard. Can we just be real about it? It is for everyone, no matter how far we have come in our self-development. Life can be hard, certain days especially. And we live with shock, and the world is chaotic. So I would say that I pointed it in the video. I said, not everybody will like us to change. And it has nothing to do with us. It has more to do with their own inner journey. But for many reasons, finding those people that we can lean onto is something I always advise my clients. I talk a lot about when we have that new goal, idea, thing we want to change in our lives, to really treat it as a fragile seed we put into the ground. And if we do that in our real garden, we would not just step on it. We would make sure that this seed has a safe space to start to sprout and grow if it one day will become into a big oak tree. So the same with our dreams. We want to treat them in the beginning when they are fragile, where we may be more sensitive to comments from others before we feel really grounded and confident that we can do it, to find those people that truly, sincerely trust us, whether it's hiring a coach, have a best friend, it doesn't matter, but just make an effort in having that tribe. So the days when we may doubt ourselves, or the days when we just need a little boost of encouragement, we know who to reach out to, who to lean out. And then as we grow stronger and become more confident and see our skills change, we can start to share it with a bigger part of the world. But that is one thing that I see can be very beneficial.
Absolutely. I think that's one thing that actually can stop some people from ever starting the journey of reinventing themselves.
Oh yeah.
Right? If they fear that other people are not going to like them or not be supportive, that kind of thing, that right there can be a boundary to work through. So I love that tip.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I especially liked what she said at the very end, because as you change and you grow and you establish your identity and you're changing the people around you, or some of your acquaintances might be changing, you are actually having the opportunity to grow and help others. It's not just all about you. It's as you're changing and they're seeing the changes in you, then all of a sudden you are increasing their value. And I think that's where the gratitude and a lot enters into play, because it's not just about you as an individual.
I love the analogy of the seed. Like when you plant a seed, it's deep down, it's hidden, it's protected, it's watered. And a lot of the times, the people that have known us for decades, they're not comfortable with this new version of ourselves. They only know you as this old version. And so in order for them to maintain their composure, they kind of want to keep you there. So I love finding maybe new people that are going to support and help water this little seed that you have hidden. I love that analogy, Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to take a quick moment and highlight one of our viewers' comments today. We have Skip, who said, it's never too late to start over, and never too late to be happy. I just, yeah. How does that hit you guys? Just the never too late.
Oh, it's never too late. My whole life turned flip side, 360 degrees. And it's no one should ever say it's too late, because the only time that we can say there's not enough time and it's too late is when our time on this earth is over.
Yeah.
Because as long as we're here, it's never too late. And there's always time enough. That saying, I don't have enough time, there's always enough time.
Does anyone does anyone care to share? Now here's the thing. We can have many phases of reinventing ourselves, right? Reinventing ourselves when we're at this stage of our life and that stage of our life and whatever. But as we're talking about this, I invite all of you to think about your own personal reinvention experiences, stories. And is anybody here open to sharing, what age you were when you decided to take a shift from where you were to where you are now? I'll go first. Of course, many reinventions. But I think for me, it was right around age 37, 38 that I said, okay, I'm going to do this dramatic thing and leave the safe job and go do what I love to do, be what I'm passionate about. And in many ways, it could have been very easy for me to say, well, no, it's too late and too old, right? You got to have the pension. You got to have the whatever. I never, this is my life. So that's one of mine. Carrie.
I've had a dozen reincarnations. I feel like I've jammed about 8 lifetimes into this one. But one of the biggest ones was when I was in my mid 50s. And I've never been married. I've never dated much beyond a couple of weeks. And I just got this urge. I didn't like where I was working. I'd lived in LA. It was getting to be a drag. My big dream was to always live in England. So I said this to a friend of mine, and she called me the next day and said, Rowan, she's renting her cottage. You got to go. She's renting her cottage for the summer. And I took a leap of faith and I went. Well, I met my husband. And we've been together ever since. And we always laugh because he was a friend of mine before. We never dated. We just went from being friends to moving in together. And I mean, when you're in your mid 50s, you just, it's never too late. You just do it. You know too much about yourself. It's okay. And it just set me on this whole different path that I had no idea. But just to take that leap, that was probably the biggest transformation, reinventing myself, going from a long-term single woman to now this. It's crazy. And it just keeps changing. There's so much more that's happened from that.
I love that, Carrie.
Yeah.
I love the way this group works and how we're just kind of piggybacking off of each other, because with Carrie, mine was kind of just the opposite. And mine hit me when I was in my 70s. I mean, when you think about being in your 70s, your life is almost over. But I became a widow, and it was, it was unexpected. And I didn't know really what I was going to do because I didn't know me. I had no idea who I was. Sharla did not know Sharla. Okay. My identity, no way. So when I found out that there is life, there's life ahead, and there's beautiful, wonderful life ahead, and ventures that I can do and take. And I found my purpose as a writer, and me being a mathematician, I would never have thought I would go. So everyone that's listening, expect the unexpected, because I'm telling you, an angel can come tap on your shoulder one day and just say, okay, girl or man, you need to go this route. Something's got to change. So yeah, it's amazing what we can do when we just set our mind to it.
Sharla, so that deserves reinventing yourself in your 70s because you weren't sure who you were. That deserves this.
Thank you. I'll talk about it.
Thank you for sharing that.
Well,
who else?
Can I just tie on to something Sharla said? Because and Jeff Bridges has this great line. He talks about retiring, and to him, retiring is getting new tires on the car and keeping on the journey. So when you're talking about changing at 70, I mean, I've hit retirement age, and I just don't even see that in the world. I'm just changing the tires on the car, and I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. And here's one that's going to make you laugh too, that has to go along with retiring. I had to be careful because I became rear tiring because my education went from the classroom into curriculum development, then professional development online. So I'm sitting at a computer. I'm not in the classroom. So I retired. So I had to completely change my daily routine and activities and everything so that I get up and get out and go outside multiple times during the day, because I have to get out and just sit there glued to the screen. I have to get out in nature. Nature's my ally.
Anna, I'm going to go to you because here you are. I'm not going to repeat it. Tell everyone what you went from and what you're doing today. Yeah.
Well, I was a high school teacher and assistant principal for 16 years. And I don't know, becoming a parent just does something to you. If you've got kids, you know, it makes you look at life a little differently. Things matter that didn't really matter before. And I became a mom a lot later in life than I think most people would, and my mom was comfortable with. And I left the classroom and opened a coaching business. And now, I mean, I've had a few iterations of my coaching business, but I found that after having a baby, you know, your body's just haywire. And I was more aware of the stuff I was putting in my body, on my body. And I was like, I've got to go clean. I've got to figure out how to make my hormones work for me. So I became a period coach, and I help women sync their lives to their cycles. And that helped me reinvent myself. When I was able to tap into my hormonal superpowers, I was like, oh, I wasn't rage cleaning last week. My body was just preparing for what's coming up next week. And I didn't suck in the gym this past week. My body's just preparing for this next thing. And there's certain times where I'm just glowing and fabulous and lights, camera, action. And there's other times that I just kind of want to be on the couch journaling and eating chocolate. And once I found myself tapping into my cyclical nature, I was like, oh, this is me. This is who I am. I came back to myself and just kind of fell in line. I thought this was something that I would kind of have to apologize for. And no, everyone's like, oh, okay, cool. You're tired? Cool. All right. You're on your period? Okay. Stay home. Don't worry about it. And I was like, oh, I don't have to apologize for being me. I can show up as the best version of myself because I know who she is now. I wasn't suppressing all of these fluctuations that make menstruators so, like, we have certain phases each month that like supercharge us to do these amazing things.
Anna, what I love about that, there's two key things about that I love is that, of course, there's the contrast, right, of working in a school to being a period coach. It's like that's right. Whoa, where'd that come from? But also you mentioned that like you didn't start out that way. You started going from working in a school to a coach. And then eventually you found your way to period coach. And so I think that's a really key point to mention because our reinvention journey can have many iterations, right? Many
Definitely. Phases. And I love that. I'm a big Golden Girls freak fan. And there was this episode where Sophia was like, I'm going to go to medical school. And her daughter, Dorothy, laughs. And she's like, you're going to be like 90 when you graduate. She's like, okay, I'll be 90 anyways. Like, I'll just be 90 and a doctor. And so I never thought that do this. I couldn't change. So I love when people make changes later on in life because you're alive. Like, live it the way you want to live it. And it can have different iterations. They can build on themselves. And you can say, nope, that didn't work. Let me pivot and shift this way. And there's no failures, just like you said. We're just learning. I learned from that and I moved on. And I just kind of found my passion. Just like, you know, I love waking up. I love talking about periods. So I found my flow, and pun intended. And yeah.
Okay.
It's amazing what happens when you step out and just try the things.
I want to go back to when you said you're going to be 90 anyway. And here we go.
Yeah. It's true though, right?
Well, not only can I want to piggyback off of that. Not only is it true, but we're in our society, we are getting older. We're aging. We're an older society. And this notion of retiring at 62 and now at 65, that's a random number. I don't know if that even applies anymore. And it's not to say people who want to retire at 62 or 65, no judgment if that's what you want to do. But even when I started getting these pamphlets, when it was time for me to sign up for Medicare and the insurance people, they had people in wheelchairs and on breathing machines. And I thought, this is not good advertising. What about people like us that have a lot of vitality? And like you said, we're going to be 90 anyway. So I want it to be my 90. I don't want to listen to what the insurance companies are telling me. This is my 90. This is my 60. I think I just had a birthday. I don't know. 68? I don't remember because it doesn't matter. I forgot
that.
I forgot my birthday. But I'm looking forward to more. What does it matter what the age is? Why can't I do whatever anyone else is doing?
You're the only one who's going to have to look back on your life and will you be satisfied or not? Exactly.
That's right.
And Kim, you're going to appreciate this. Well, all of you, I think, will, because I just saw this a couple of days ago, probably on Facebook. But it was a lady that was celebrating her 100th birthday. And I don't know if it was her daughter or a member of her family asked her, they said, well, how do you feel being 100? And she looked at her and she said, 100. I was born in 1923. That makes, what is this year? And she said, 2023. Yeah, I am 100. And the question was, well, how do you feel? She said, I don't feel any different than I did when I was 50. Is that not beautiful? Because she kept staying active. Yeah, she stayed a part of life all the way to her 100th birthday. I think that was beautiful.
I saw that, Sharla. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I think that's a great sentiment about how age is just a number, right? It's all about what are we doing to live. Yeah.
I like to say, can I say something quick? I think actually this is very important also for people. I like to go deep sometimes, right? That's just who I am. But if we think about what state the world is in, it's too expensive for us, if we look at humanity in general, to not use all the skills we have. So age is not a thing any longer. We have to stop that story. We need all of us to show up in the fullest expression of who we are so that we can change the world and help it for the future generations. I just wanted to add that. So I think it's so important, like that we have these conversations and inspire each other to not stop, but just, I'm very inspired by the stories I hear here. I want to say that.
Thank you for adding that, Charlotte. I agree. It's our life, our time is so precious that all these other things happening in the world really can drive it home as, oh, no, now, right now, let the stories that are getting in the way go, because what am I doing to actually enjoy today? Because if you have the gift of being able to reinvent yourself and, and do more things that you want, I mean, how valuable that is. Absolutely. We want to take a moment and just recognize that that we are still in the month of October right now as we're recording this episode, and October is known as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so we want to take a moment to just simply acknowledge some of that.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been shown that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
Share this with your friends and family and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else,
You belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
About time being precious, right? Yeah, for those that don't know, Tamara Hunter's organization is CB4L Chemo Buddies for Life, and definitely check it out at the website cb4l.org. There on the screen, absolutely. And I want to highlight one of Tamara's comments here. A moment ago, she was mentioning that play is a 4-letter word that we all need more of in our lives, right? I can agree. I can attest to that.
And, I'm going back to the cancer, and I heard this just here recently, but I don't remember where it was. And it was someone that had been diagnosed with cancer, and they were going through the chemotherapy, and they were being questioned, and they were just as serious as they could be. And they looked up at the person that was talking with them, and they said, "Well, I have cancer, but I'm not dead." You know, that hit home with me, because that's telling me, even though a person has the cancer, there are ways that you can learn to cope and to deal with it and to move forward that not only helps yourself, but also helps others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, no two journeys are alike, but it is good to know that there are, of course, resources out there available and communities that want to love and support you through that transformational journey. And I'm going to head to you, because we want to hear a little bit more from you about reinvention. What's your personal experience been with reinventing yourself?
Yeah, my personal experience, I have to say, for me, it's not the wonderful decades long of being on the wonderful planet Earth, like some of our guests, but for me, it was at 21. Definitely for 21, because one of my main stories is that I was the shy kid who grew up in church who eventually found his confidence. And funny enough, we talked about earlier in the program about how sometimes folks aren't ready for the new you, but there are some folks out there who may be ready for the new you, because one of the major things I had a part-time job at the time at a local library, and I was always the quiet kid who did his work. Yeah, I would have conversations with folks, but it wouldn't be much. I would keep to myself and do my work. But as I just started to become more social with other people and actually be more of an ambivert, folks like, "Oh, what the heck did he just say?" Because folks are laughing in the corner after I said a quick remark about something or said some dry humor or a joke or something. It's like, dude, we didn't know he could actually tell a joke before. And it's just that testament that, hey, there's some people out there who may be waiting for you to reinvent yourselves just to see the show. Because the thing is, there may be some parts of the current you where you may have to cleanse them so you can grow more into who you truly want to become.
Well, and here you are today, the host of a very popular, successful podcast, Going North podcast. I'm going to give that a quick plug. Dom, you've done a great job. You definitely are not the shy kid or whatever. You know, you're out there. You are so hilarious. For those that don't know, this guy is just cracks me up every time I speak to him. Yeah. And you also, I mean, do you also coach people on this? I feel like I need to highlight this for some reason. So do you also coach people? Because I know you did the whole.
Yes, I actually have. It's really all about explosive growth. And one of the major things with reinvention is that you have to dig deep. Like I forgot the video over there, questions. But the thing is, at the end of the day, questions provoke thought. And really, it's about questioning yourself and questioning others as a coach and asking yourself, like, okay, so why am I doing this? And sometimes diving so deep into the 7 whys where you're like, oh, so this is the true root of the cause here. It's like, oh, this is why I was so shy about this one particular aspect. It's like, oh yeah, I was the kid who was always in the books and still struggling to get C's, as opposed to a friend of mine at the time who would get A's and he would just pay attention to class and wouldn't study at all. So just really diving deep into yourself and realizing that, oh, this is the source of the issue. This is something I need to cleanse and for me to grow and to really reinvent myself for the better and not butter.
Thank you for sharing that, Tom. I'm gonna move on over to Charlotte, because I want to hear more of your transformational journey, and I'm just gonna pinpoint you are you're dancing, and you're not just like a little bit dancing. You're like pro dancing these days. And you didn't start out, well, tell us about how that shift has taken place.
Okay, thank you, Kim. I knew you would bring it up. I just want to correct, I'm not pro, but I compete. And I started ballroom dancing a year and a half ago, and it was kind of a gift that was planted in my lap. I did ballroom dance when I was a little girl for about 2 years. And then I think my instructor, she realized, oh, there's something in this girl, and she that can do more. And she spoke to my parents and said, I can see something in her, but that would require more private lessons, which means more of these. And my parents had another vision for our family. So I was pulled out. And then like 40, 35, 40. I don't do my math. Okay, I was 10 at that time. I was 54, then other people can do the math for me. Years later, I saw a video, a friend was dancing, and there was just something in me that was like waking up. And I just want to say at that time, I had already made another shift from staying at home with my kids for many years to starting my own business and career again, which is now what I help other women do, like enhance their career and make money in fun ways. But it was that video that was like, whoa, that feels so good. I would like to do that. And then following that intuition, we've talked a lot about it. Dom mentioned it, Carrie mentioned it, going to that cabin, but I was like, I came up with all these excuses. I'm too old. I don't have a dance partner. I'm sure it's too much money. There was some money blocks from my childhood, right? So I did everything to not go that way until one day I went to the local shopping center and decided to park at the other side where I usually park. Pulled into an open space, looked up, and it was right outside a dance studio that I didn't even know existed. Again, I was like resisting it, but then long story short, it happened that after some weeks, I went for a free trial lesson because, of course, they had a sandwich sign outside that kind of took all my excuses away from, you don't need a partner, adults. So I showed up, and I just loved it from the first session, and I continued, and I have a good partnership with my teacher. So he said, let's do a competition. And then I was kind of just into it. But I want to just say that it's been a lot of growth for me also, because there were things in the dancing. I have not been a big makeup person ever. Now I had to get these, this stage makeup on, dresses I would never even look at when I went to stores, like with glitter and stones and all that. So it's definitely been a journey, but I want to say that it's been a growth opportunity. It goes very well hand in hand with what I do. Now, when I know my human design, it totally makes sense that I do this. And it's so fulfilling and fun. It's my sport now, and I'm in as good a shape as when I did martial art, and I was a first-degree black belt at that time. It's just fun. Wow. But I did not think that through. It just happened. But again, this is what we talked about. When we get these little breadcrumbs of either inspiration, or we see new ideas, or we recognize, like I did when I saw my friend posting a dance video like that, trust that inner guidance. Talked a lot about it. Dominique talked a lot about, like, trust that inner guidance and then follow it. Like, I'm so grateful I did not talk myself out of it. It's just a new dimension of my life now.
I want to highlight, so thank you for sharing all that, because I love that. You basically went from like a stay-at-home mom to being this competitive dancer right now. And to me, you're pro level. And maybe it wasn't you are. So that's how I see it. Okay. But I want to say you said something about it just happened, but I actually want to throw a wrench into that, because you were listening to all those nudges, the universe was responding, but it happened because you took those actions then. Yep. You didn't stop it. And I think that's the part that we were talking about earlier, is like, listen to these things, right? Because we could easily just say, well, it's supposed to just happen. If it's meant to happen, it'll happen. Well, the universe can send us 8 million signs, and if we don't respond to them, then we have control too, right? We're a participant in our experience. So
absolutely.
Yeah, how to say that.
Charlotte, I like the part where you reiterated, I can tell in your movement and in your voice. And when you said it was just fun, it's something that you enjoy, and the passion for the dance shows in your movement, in your facial expression, in your words. It's there. And I'm going to have to agree with Kim. I have not seen you dance, but I have a feeling you're a pro.
She is.
And you were open to it. You were open.
Very much so.
And then moved, just like Kim said. Like you took those steps, and that's big. That's big.
Yeah.
And I also want to add in, I love what you said about wearing the makeup and wearing the dresses that you'd never wear. I think we have such a great opportunity to be different people just by different haircuts, different clothes. I mean, when I let my hair grow out to its natural color, it's like I was reinvented again. All these little chances we get to reinvent, and putting on the makeup, it's like a mask, but it can be fun. You can dress up and be this elegant, wonderful being, and you stand taller and you move differently. Well, that's probably how I see you when you dance. Putting on the makeup and the dress just adds to that little flair that you do when you're on the dance floor. It's reinventing yourself every time. I love that.
Absolutely.
I'll just add a quick thing, because for me, it's always been having that right balance between doing business, but also having that fulfillment and joy. And for me, dance is the fuel into every corner of life. And I really encourage everyone, like, we gotta have fun. We must, life is short and precious. So let's do what we can have some fun with.
I want to highlight another audience comment with us. We have Donna with us today, who is saying, oh, hold on. We have Donna with us, who is saying, showing up is one of the secrets of success. And that's what I hear you all talking about, is showing up for yourself, listening to those desires, those nudges, things like that. And there you have it. That you get to experience the transformation, the reinvention, and enjoy your life more. We so today, again, we are recording this show in October, and it's right before Halloween, just a couple days from now. And Halloween is a time of, temporary transformation, right? It's like that's when people get bold, like, okay, I'm gonna put on all this sexy stuff, right? Or crazy stuff that you would never put on. But for one day, you let the fear go, you just put it on and you have fun with it. And but here we are talking about that more long-term transformation. But even so, I want to just take a quick moment and acknowledge the fun of Halloween. Thank you again, Barbara, for that fun video. Halloween could be a great time to even try on, like, who do I want to be? Like, why be some other character or thing out in the world, right? How about, like, what's the next best version of you? Dress up as that. Embody that for a day. We are nearing the end of today's show. And so I want to make sure everyone has a quick moment to, we're just going to go around, everyone say your final thoughts. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with Carrie, because she's right next to me again. So let's see if we can get her in the mush pot first. Where's Carrie? There she is. Carrie, what are your final thoughts as we near the end of today's show?
As I'm thinking about what everybody here is saying, I think one of the most important things we can do is show up And being our authentic self, it gives permission to other people. We're showing them. When I give speeches and people come up to me afterwards and they said, I never thought I could do that, especially if you want to get into the age group thing. I never thought I could, but you're showing me I can. So what I'm hearing from everybody in our panel today is each of us are bringing our stories to the world, and that's telling other people they can do it too.
Love
So
that.
thank you for that. Thank you all for that. I learned something today from you all.
Thank you for that, Carrie. Anna, I'm going to jump over to you. What are your final thoughts?
Well, I loved talking when we started the talk that it doesn't have to be this big major shift, because that is crazy overwhelming. But if you don't know what the next step is, you know what the next right thing to do is. So you just do that one next right thing, whether it's making your bed, like Sharla mentioned, if it's getting some morning fresh air, you just do that next thing, which is going to inform the next thing, and you're going to get there. So you don't have to know how to get to the end point, but you just do that next right thing and you're just going to keep moving.
So important. Thank you for adding that. Yeah. Sharla, how about you?
I'll have to piggyback on, well, both of what was said, but most importantly is never give up. Just know that your life is not over. There's so much vitality that you have left and so much that you can give to the world. And look at it as not so much the growth, within yourself, but as you are growing, others are growing. Yeah. Because you're increasing the life of others. And I think that's very, very important. And I love the part of what's next, because and I mean, so much came out of today, the fun, the joy, having a purpose, and, just being able to move forward and not dread it. Just enjoy it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Charlotte, how about you?
There's so much good. I would say collaboration, and remind ourselves that there's really no competition and that all minds are joined. So like when we are together here, think about what can come out of a conversation like that. So if we open up to be more curious, to get to know each other, know our neighbors, have the conversations around the dining table, and know ourselves and know our piece in the bigger puzzle piece, I think so much change, and so much change can happen. So we can do so much good and better for ourselves, and that way inspire others to do the same, especially our families and communities.
Thank you for that. Absolutely. And Dom, final thoughts?
Sure thing. A lot of wonderful things were said today, and at the end of the day, reinvention is never going to be a straight line. Kind of like success, you think it's a straight line, but there's going to be some squiggles that are going to appear. There are going to be some hiccups that are going to appear, some speed bumps, or maybe a whole entire Great Wall of China might appear. But use those setbacks as a story forward and live it until you advance by taking at least 1 or 2 tips from today's past hour, and make sure your life is so sweet it's not sour.
Okay, thank you for that, Dom, and thank you to all of our panelists today. You added so much value and I want to say upliftment and light to today's conversation, and I appreciate you for that. Thank you for being here, and thank you to today's audience. You guys were also fabulous. Let us know what you're taking away from today's conversation down in the comments wherever you watched, and thank you for supporting the show with your likes, shares, all of that. We so appreciate you. We'll see y'all again very soon.
I want to say thank you for joining us today and welcome you back next Sunday as we once again are joined by a panel of subject matter experts that will explore and focus in on our fabulous lives. Until next Sunday.